John Ochapinti here.
It's AL.
NEPA Scene's own Carson Daly.
Filkowski. Yeah. Filkowski.
And tonight, we're here with A.L. Filkowski. Got that?
Yes.
Nailed it.
What's going on, man? It's been a while. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to Beyond the Break podcast. I am your host, AL. And
I'm your co-host, Johnny Occhipinti.
you awake there, buddy?
You're just like breaking
okay?
up.
Oh, I'm breaking up. Uh-oh. Well, maybe you gotta hop out and hop back in or something. But regardless, today we've got a great show for you. We've got our guest, Dan Dearborn of Encore Studios and Route 6 Records. Dan was a global touring Enigma Records artist with developmental deals with Elektra Records and Megaforce Sony from 1989 to 2002. He worked with acts such as Skid Row, Ace Frehley, and Paul Stanley of Kiss, Alice Cooper, Stryper, David Lee Roth, Poison, Bret Michaels, Rat, Great White, Overkill, the list goes on, as well as comedians such as Tommy Chong and Michael Winslow, who's known to be the man of 10,000 sound effects. Thomas River, New Jersey, named an honorary day after him back in the 1980s, and he was endorsed by Dean Markley Strings and Crate Amplifiers back in the day. Now he's a co-owner of Encore Studios, who works closely with the Big Break and in the Break Room series that we play on this show. As well as he's a co-owner and founder of Route 6 Records, along with myself, Robert McCann, and Steez PA. If you're joining us live, we invite you to ask questions or make comments throughout the show. And if they fit the topic, we'll give you a shout out and reply directly. So, yeah, welcome. I am really excited to get him on. I know he had a little bit of technical difficulties, so he should be on shortly, but that does not mean that the show stops. We've got some stuff for you. Let's try. What do you want to do first there, buddy? Johnny?
What do you mean? With like the videos?
Yeah. Or you know what? I've got an idea. How about this? You remember our first interview?
So, tell me about yourself.
I'm eccentric,
but I don't care.
Yeah.
So, good job.
A lot of hair. We had more hair.
Yeah, you did have a lot of hair. Yeah, man, that was fun. That was a nice shoot we did with the bananas.
That was great.
Yeah.
More of that.
Yeah, no, we definitely will. We've got John Fry on the team now. So we're gonna have some pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I saw that. So let's see. We've got 1 minute. We've been able to narrow these down to 1 minute. So every episode now we're gonna have a 1 minute snippet of some big break news, just real quick in and out. And towards the end, we're going to have another 1 minute snippet of NEPA local shows that are going on in the next 7 days. Bless you. Yeah, so let's start with the big break news with Robin.
Hey everyone, it's Robin. I'm here to bring you the weekly Big Break news. For our winners this season, we've got a 1-year record deal with Route 6 Records, a product for our winner that will be named after them from the Mad Twisted Hatters Infused Emporium, a professionally produced music video, a fully mixed and mastered audio track recorded at award-winning Encore Studios. We have a professional photo shoot, a multi-camera video and audio recording of a performance. We've also got an in-studio professional photo shoot, and we've also got a 1-year VIP subscription to merchbooth.com. In addition to the prizes, we're now on LinkedIn and we'll be streaming to Twitch. In order for us to be able to stream on LinkedIn, we need 150 followers. So if you can please help us get there, we'd appreciate that. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram for the rest of our updates. Thank you very much. That's everything for the Big Break this week.
Hey, that thing you do, Dan Dearborn. I guess he's made it, but has walked away. So that's fine.
Great job by Robin there.
Oh,
What's up, Dad?
Hey,
nice shirt.
A little wardrobe malfunction.
So you guys have kind of like a little bromance going on. How are you, Dan?
Father, son.
I am fantastic and so honored to be here with you guys today.
I'm honored to have you. We are. Let's see. We've got. Do you remember this?
I
Awesome.
do, and it's funny. I wore this shirt not thinking that Johnny would also wear this shirt.
That's weird because we also planned that.
That's a great looking shirt, though.
Oh man. So Dan Dearborn, how are you, sir? You're looking good, sounding good.
I'm wonderful, actually. Thank you very much. Things are very good lately.
That's awesome. I'm
and how are you guys both doing?
Doing excellent. Great. I feel just got done with COVID. I had COVID last week. Got over it a couple of days ago.
Which is fortuitous. Which is fortuitous because it came right after the Big Break finale, so that could not have timed better.
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah. I don't know if you recall, but last season, not season 3, but season 2, when we had Vinny, the third round or the third show of the second round, because we had those split up then, he got COVID, so I ended up having a host, and I was all shaky and not wanting to do it, but we got over it.
Right.
You do a good job of hosting.
I drank through it, I got looser towards the end, but yeah, Dan, so welcome to the show. One of the things that we do here is we like to start off with a song of a local act that we've worked with. This time we're going with the Crates. Last episode we went with Old Kentucky Shark because they were the winners of season 2. So we have to catch up with them. Season 3, the Crates won. So do you want to say anything about the Crates in that video specifically, maybe?
Yeah, actually, real quick, I just want to say, I think it's phenomenal. Old Kentucky Shark, great band, who won season 2, and then followed by the Crates, great band, back to back. I think that's a phenomenal win for both those bands, back to back years. Great for the Big Break, really putting 2 bands deservedly in a winning spot.
Yeah, absolutely. They're great guys. They're great kids. The Crates, I consider them kids. They're great kids. Old Kentucky Shark, great guys. So like all in all, just both on the musical level, but also like their personal,
I remember in the when they came to shoot that video, the guitar player was going to play a 12-string, and for something happened with his 12-string that it wasn't working properly, and so we brought down one of our 12 strings we keep on hand at the studio. So he wound up playing our 12 string in the video shoot. Sounded great. He played great. honestly, the whole band just were firing. At that point, I really felt like they were firing on all pistons, and they were just locked in. Sounded great, and continued to sound better each show they performed.
Yeah.
It really did.
So we've got a video, right, that we recorded at Encore Studios that you guys recorded. What was that setup like before we play that video? Like, what, audio wise, on the technical level, how's that?
So it was really just about mic placement and making sure we placed the mics correctly for them. So they had
Were they all line-ins or were they
yeah. I'm trying to remember because we had so many bands. So I want to say So I think it was 3 line-ins for their guitars, the singer, and then the singer also did harmonica on that song as well. If I'm recalling right, and that was that was unexpected because then we had to deal with the difference in the vocal for the harmonica when we were doing that. But it came out great. The video looks great and sounds almost as good as the video looks.
I think it sounds great. Go ahead, John.
See the rain tonight in a cellar, ultraviolet light. You know this world ain't the same without you. Oh, what's to wait for you tonight? And goddamn, I feel alive. I've never known it would ever feel this good. How much emotion you can handle, more than you can breathe. Every time it doesn't seem like you can hear a thing. Am I too much you can handle, more than you can breathe, yeah. 'Cause every time I don't think you can hear a thing. Baby, that's just me. I can shine on through like a crack in the wall. They may try to get the best of you, but I'm giving the worst day out. You're a survivor, and you're still standing. You're a contender, full of pretenders. You're a survivor, and you're still standing. In these hands, never mind too much, and you can handle more than you can breathe. Every time it doesn't seem like you can hear a thing. Am I too much you can handle, more than you can breathe? 'Cause every time it doesn't seem like you can hear a thing. Baby, that's just me. So keep it flowing all the time now. Live your life and love your lights, yeah. Keep it going all the time now. Don't care about what they say. Am I too much and you can handle, more than you can breathe, yeah. 'Cause every time it doesn't seem like you can hear a thing. Am I too much and you can handle, more than you can breathe, yeah. It doesn't seem like you can hear a thing.
Oh, those guys are great. That was the Crates, everybody. They, like I was saying, they won this season. They actually did pick a song to do a music video for. So that's pretty good. Should we announce it? Should we say what the song is?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is, Dan?
I don't even know yet. So
You don't know? Okay. Wow. Okay. I don't know. Should I announce it? I mean,
I'd like to know.
you'd like to know? Okay.
I think everyone out there wants to know.
Okay. Well, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna announce it. It's I See Red.
I See Red. Okay.
So
I've heard them play that.
Yeah, very, very poppy, very, movie, energy. So it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna, I've got the lyrics for that. So it's a matter of just piecing it all together, coming up with a nice solid plan. A nice solid idea is where it starts. So, well, a song is where it starts. Actually, a great band is where it starts, just like the Crates.
Yes, yeah, I agree. One thing that impressed me, and I'll try not to go on and on and on about them, but they're all multi-instrumentalists. So in that video, you see the guy playing bass is actually their drummer. And when they came in, they actually recorded some songs with us. Everybody kind of had a hand in playing a little bit of everything. So their singer plays guitar and bass. The guitar players play bass and guitar. The drummer plays drums and bass. So they're a very multifunctional band that has a lot of facets to their abilities. So I think
and that harmonica, man. That harmonica, that just like, I came out of nowhere the first time I heard him, perform that at your studio.
Right, and we had no idea. I wish we had known. We might have checked some levels first, but
right. but yeah, you made it happen though. You made it happen, and that's very impressive. But I want to just kind of go back in time a little bit with you, to when you were touring back in the late 80s, 90s. With Enigma Records and all that stuff. Like what was that like, especially compared to today? Different worlds, but I'm really interested in a little bit of that history.
Yeah, Dan, do you have a Wikipedia page? What was all that before?
Oh, he missed all that. He missed all that. You missed the intro, buddy.
So back in the day, so things were much different back in the day. There was a much more onus on the artist to kind of get themselves rolling to a point before anybody would look at you, because the days of just people coming in and dumping money in you in the 60s and 70s had kind of gone by the wayside. So I remember working with Shark Entertainment, which were the managers for Trickster, and they came in and looked at us and they said, how many names you have on your mailing list? And we said 3,000. And they said, how many? And it was a mailing list back then. They said, how many T-shirts have you sold? And we said like 500. And they said, how many cassette tapes have you sold? And we said like 200. And they said, well, when you have 30,000 names on your mailing list and you've sold 5,000 T-shirts and you've sold 2,000 cassette tapes, let us know, because then we'd be interested in working with you. Oh, and we then took the next year and a half and really started grinding it out. We had no idea. We thought it was really like somebody would come out and discover you. Like the old days, like somebody would walk into a bar and say, hey, these guys are great. We're going to sign them and take them to Hawaii and give them $1 million. And it really was.
I feel like some of that mentality. I feel like some of that mentality is still true and alive today, with bands that believe that if you make the music, you will be found, without having to do any extra, taking extra steps. But let's go back a little bit. I just that hasn't changed. That part has not changed in a lot of aspects. But anyway, I digress.
So we did that, and we called them back, and we wound up getting a very nice very nice management deal, and we got our first slot in '89 to work on the Paul Stanley solo. Paul Stanley had gone on a solo tour in 1989. He toured on the East Coast about 27, 28 dates, and we did about 24 of them. And it was just him and a solo band, and we got to be the opening band for Paul Stanley on a solo tour, and it was just an amazing first shot you went to go for. And of course, we were new and didn't cost a lot of money to take these idiots on the road with him.
Now, how many bands were you in before this one that actually did something, out of the ordinary?
Probably 20 or 30. High school bands. You play backyard parties and bonfires. Through your town for all through high school. So 4, 5, 6 years just do nothing but playing parties with guys you went to high school with.
So this was your first serious.
Oh yeah. Other than getting to do stints at bars, we held an every Wednesday night at a local bar. So we were like a Wednesday night band, but that was the first big something we did. Yeah. And it was all just from really hitting the ground and doing as much work as we could to get people out there. We didn't know when you have a mailing list, and I'm sure it works very much like having hits on or likes on a Facebook page, that you get a 1.5% to 2% return for every person that likes your page or is on your mailing list. So you send out 1,000 mailers, you're going to get 2 to 5 people to show up to your show. So you're not getting. So you need to have, the more names you have, the more people are going to come to your
right. Yeah, and that's the same now with followers and likes and all that stuff, and you've got different platforms that you got to keep track of, and some shut down and other ones open up, and there's so many of them. It's it's like a full-time job just to market yourself as a musician, or even as a podcaster, or as a contest, or anything. It takes it's a job of its own. Like who does that all for you for Encore? Who does all your marketing and things like that?
So it's a combination of myself, Bob McCann, who's a co-owner, Steve's our engineer. We have Max, who's a guitar repairman for us, Armando, and a couple of the musicians for hire at our place. We have some studio musicians there, so it's really everyone who kind of has a hand in doing anything at the studio kind of helps market that brand, because we're all looking towards the end result, where hopefully this becomes big enough that it can support not only the local scene, but the guys working behind the scenes.
So, but you guys, even though you work on it individually, you have like meetings or like brand standards, because I see that no matter what you post, you're still using the same colors, the same fonts, things like that.
Yeah, so we have a digital artist on our staff who kind of does all of our artwork for us. So pretty much everything that comes out is within that one brand. And so what'll happen is we'll send out a message, hey, we want a flyer to look like this, or we want an ad to look like this, and he'll send something back, and I'll say, oh, I don't like that, or Bob will say he doesn't like, we want something bigger or smaller and a different picture, and then we kind of come to an agreement before something goes out there. So it's really Bob and I at the end of the day kind of decide what it is we want going out there, but we certainly take advice from other people. Somebody will say like, hey, I think this looks really nice, and we'll look at it and think, oh, we weren't looking at it that way. We were looking at it from a way, but that might pop in a better direction. So
where is Bob, by the way? He's not on the show.
Bob is actually at the studio now with University Drive, rehearsing there. And it's funny because he kind of was a little hurt that I was only doing the podcast and he didn't get asked. And I said, I think you were part of this, but he took it as it was just me, and I let it roll like that.
No,
I like the
no,
fact that
no, no, no.
I
This
got
was
chosen and he wasn't asked. No. Let's stay with this. I like that it's just me and not Bob. And I said maybe you can do an episode on your own.
yeah. We will then. We will. It'll have to
Absolutely.
happen. It'll have to happen. Yeah. No, that must have been a misunderstanding. Yeah, my bad. I thought I sent it to the group chat. Maybe I'm
No,
sorry.
you did send it to the group chat, but I
Oh.
answered it and you and I started talking.
Yeah, no, that's
And-
for everybody. Oh God.
I love
Bob.
it. I love it. You have no idea. I love it.
Do you remember? Hey, Johnny. Do you remember Bob Crumbs?
No.
How much more black could that shirt be? And the answer is none.
It's perfect.
None more black.
It's perfect.
Other than like, there's you got a few crumbs.
Oh,
That
man.
happens. I got you. I'm a crumb guy.
This guy just throws me right under the bus. You believe this
I
guy?
love it.
He throws me right
I
under the
love
bus.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Now I remember.
Great. Bobby Crumbs. I love it. Not only is he
That was
here,
a
but he's got
great
Bobby Crumbs forever. I
Yeah,
love it.
no, that was great. So that was a little snippet of interview that we had with you and Bob at Encore. That was hosted by Johnny for last season. So yeah, and I really recommend anybody that's out there. Maybe we'll put the link in the in the what's it called description later. To check out that interview because it does, it shows the studio and really gets their character.
That was a great interview.
Yeah,
Bob did a great job, honestly, in that interview. Usually I do most of the talking, but he did a great job.
he did very, very well. Yeah, so I mean, I'm sad that he's not on here, but this gives us an opportunity to hear you more, and then we'll have him on, and we'll have Steez on as well. If he
Then
wants
have all three of them on at once or something. Or
Oh,
at
it's
least
gonna be
two of them.
chaos. Plus you, plus me, have John Fry on. It'll be nuts.
Fighting for breaths out there.
So yeah. So you've worked with a lot of really, really big artists, Dan. They're mostly all 80s hair metal type stuff. That's totally your thing. See, I'm more on Bob's side when it comes to music. I'm less on the 80s and I'm more on like the newer stuff, but not like new, because it gets a little too crazy for this old man, I guess.
Yeah, I'm the old guy.
But yeah, like Alice Cooper, David Lee Roth. I mean, Ace Frehley and Paul Stanley, Skid Row. Like, what's up with all that?
We wound up finding a niche for ourselves in the 90s that we were a solid enough act that would tour responsibly enough for less money than most other opening acts. So we were almost like a bargain basement opening act. So you could take us on, you could run 6 weeks with us. So you get a bigger name. You take a Keel with you on tour, and Keel would charge twice as much as we would, and they'd run an 8-week with you. And when they went off to do something else, and you had maybe 4 or 6 weeks left on your leg of the tour, you'd give us a call, and we'd hop on, and we'd do 4 weeks with you, and you'd save some money, and you knew you were getting a quality act. You were going to get somebody responsible. We'd show up every night. We'd do the gig. We'd go home. And you get to save a little money. And it was great money for us. The money was just amazing during those days.
Yeah. So how long would you be on the road for at a time?
I probably was never away more than 8 weeks, maybe 9 weeks. But normally it was 4 to 6 weeks. You were gone on a clip. Like you'd be gone for 4 to 6 weeks. Then you come home for a week and a half, and then you'd be gone for another 4 to 6 weeks.
Right. That's
and that was kind of the cycle for about 13 years.
Yeah, that takes a toll on your body, though, huh? After a while,
it does. You do get used to it. Surprisingly and unfortunately, that's kind of what your body becomes accustomed to.
Right. Then playing the same sets every night.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially especially towards the end. So I pretty much toured in 3 different incarnations of bands. And when we got to the end of each incarnation, you really resented the people you worked with. Like it was a job. So for everybody out there who goes to work, they're an accountant or they work in a distribution center, you work retail, and you hate your job and you dislike the people you work with. That's the same thing. It's just on a different scale. You still dislike the people you work with because it's still a job. You see the same people every day, and somebody makes you angry because they didn't do it the right way, or they did something, they touched your stuff. Or so at the end of a 4 or 6 year employment with a band, you wind up really just glad that it ended.
Yeah.
And then you move on to the next phase.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize that, you know. It's
but the alternatives are, I mean, you're either
go to an office job, right?
Yeah, you're either cleaning pools or you're touring,
right?
In a band. So
I'm guessing you got into some, like sticky situations out on the road, right?
There were some sticky situations on the road.
Oh boy, go on now.
That's all we're gonna say on that. I will be very politically correct for anything. However, once the camera's shut off, I'll be happy to.
Come on, just one sticky situation.
Here's what I'll say: take everything you think life would be like on the road, and times that by 10, and then make it 10 times worse, and then make it 10 times worse.
Okay.
And that's exactly what touring life is. It's as crazy and rambunctious and soul-suckingly wonderful and awful at the same time.
Yeah, to the
heights that you would think.
Right. I guess. I mean, it really depends on yourself and the members that you're with, right? Because everybody that's involved is, So
I'll tell you a great story.
Either given or taken away.
Here's a great story. So we had worked with Stryper several times, and they're one of my all-time favorite bands. They're a Christian heavy metal band, for those who don't know, and they are amazing players for that genre of music. I consider myself to be a pretty good singer, and the singer for Stryper was always one of those guys that no matter what I did, I could never equal him. He was always better than I was. So it was very humbling working with those guys. But they're still a Christian band, and their fan base was very moderately Christian. So they weren't, there weren't any fights and things weren't going on. But we were in a very big theater, and there was a crew of bikers in the back, and they had been partying very hard. At the end of their show, when they come back for their final couple of songs, they come back out. He asks everybody to bow their heads, and he's going to pray with them because, again, they're this Christian band. So he asks everybody, please, and he starts going into his thing. I want to bless this crowd, dear Jesus. Please bless this crowd, and everyone, please bring them home safely. And these bikers in the back are getting rambunctious, and he stops in the middle of it, and he says, because I'm praying for your souls in the back of the room. Be quiet while I'm talking. And I'm thinking, oh my God, Michael Sweet's going to die at the end of this gig. And everybody stopped, and these big burly bikers just stopped and put their beers down, and they took their hats and their bandanas off, and it was quiet. He finished his prayer and played the set out. And I was like, man, that was one of the coolest things I ever saw, because he controlled this entire crowd. And I really thought something violent was going to happen, but it was this amazing moment of just, he took control, and he wasn't being mean. He was just being adamant about the message he was giving.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, nobody ever heard from him again after that night.
And then, but yeah, no, it was a very big moment for me about how much as a singer you can control what goes on your stage.
Right.
And I never forgot that it was my stage. So whenever anybody wanted to, hey, I'm going to do something like that, that's right. That's my stage. That's not going to happen.
Right.
So,
Yeah, no, there's definitely a power to that, but if you can't abuse it either,
no.
But so let's kind of fast forward a little bit, because now you've got Encore Studios, and Route 6 Records, right? You've got a lot going on, Dan. And are you also still, like, you've got another thing that you do on the side or something too, or something? I don't know.
I have a side thing. Let's pretend I don't have a side thing.
Okay. Yeah.
But everybody has a side thing. You always have a side thing
right,
to help funnel the things you really want to do. So honestly, my plan is, and I do love the side job that I have, which is honestly my main job. But I do love that work, but we're getting awfully close to the point where I'm not going to be able to do that anymore. And Bob and I talk about that all the time, is that one of us are going to have to go full time at the studio at some point, probably within the next 12 to 18 months, that we're really going to have somebody there full time
that's a good problem to have, though.
No. Oh, no, it absolutely is.
Right.
And we've already discussed that, and it probably would be me. I would be the guy. I would be the one to man the fort there. So.
Right. Yeah. No, that's awesome. So you guys are a recording studio. We already know that. You work with us with the Big Break on a lot of awesome things, and we are very, very grateful for that, for your help and everything. For the finale, you came out with all this gear and recorded like 3, 4, 5 bands, I believe, that day. What is this, just for anybody out there that's wondering what something like this would cost? Let's say a standard 5-piece, or even lower. Let's the standard 4-piece, because there's usually 4 these days, right? Standard 4-piece, standard drum set, nothing crazy. Like 45-minute set. Okay. Mix and master. So record, live, mix and master, not video or anything, but like I mean, just ballpark, between here and there,
honestly, something like that, probably not. Honestly, not that much. It's really just our time for that day. So there's not much more involved in that than kind of setting up at the studio. It's just kind of grabbing the mobile rig and bringing it out. So if we're doing a 45-minute set, I mean, I got to believe with mixing and mastering, 4-piece set, we mic up the drums, 250, something like that. We could probably give you an entire live
for the recording.
Yeah, for the recording, probably, especially if it's what would be great for us if we could go out and do like a 4-band shoot, and if you knock,
right.
You could bring the price down. You like 150 for you, 150 for you, 150. All of a sudden, you make $600 for the day. You go out and you hit 4 bands.
What about what about the post process? Because now you've got all that extra noise and stuff you gotta clean up. And
Bob is really the master of the audio. So we can both do all the same things, but Bob gives an attention to detail where I like to look at things and go like, that sounds great. Let's go with that. And
right.
Bob will say, well, wait a second. There's 12 other things happening. I'm like, that's fine. That's fine. Nobody's going to hear that except you. So he's really like a fine craftsman when it comes to sound.
Right.
And in reality, there's probably only going to be 1.5% of the people in the world that are going to hear the things he's hearing, or 5% of the people that are hearing the things he's hearing. But he really finds that attention to detail and really pulls everything out of that. So it's it's a little more of a process for him, and he's really particular about that, about putting us about stamping our name on something.
Right.
So
right.
we'll both go in and we'll listen to something together. And there are things I'll hear like, oh, hey, maybe it should come up here. But he's really got some of the greatest ears in the business that I've worked with, and I've worked with some.
Do you think your ears are more sticky? Like they got a little more sticky in there?
There's definitely more sticky in my ears.
Oh my. Pardon me. Wow, that got really weird. Thanks, Johnny.
It just feels like a sticky podcast. I don't know what it is about it. It's just like we're getting
a sticky podcast. You know, Johnny, I remember the first time you were practicing interviewing. Do you remember practicing doing your practice interviews, your mock interviews?
What's going on, guys? Not much. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see you guys play. Pumped. Can't be better. Do you mind introducing yourselves and like what you do for the band? I was gonna ask, yeah. You write a little too nice. Cool.
That was one of my finest works, I think. They were pretty receptive of the questions, it felt.
Yeah, definitely. I saw that. There's
something sticky happening over here after watching that.
Oh God.
Watching that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was fantastic.
Can we
that
bleep
was
that out?
Fantastic, my friend.
Now we're gonna get shut down. Thanks, guy. Oh man. Okay. So back to the sticky podcast.
I kind of like that. The sticky podcast, I think, works.
Yeah. Sticky podcast by Dan and Johnny.
And John.
So you've got the record, or sorry, no, you got the recording studio, and now you've got the record label. Yeah, man, that sounds really, really busy. I'm also co-owner of the record label, but as far as like visuals, basically, right?
Well, so that's the thing. So I know when we started. So it's Bob, myself, you, and Steve's are working together on the record label, and I know we really have our roles defined. And even though you are our visual arts expert, I would take advice from you on any subject. Like
right. But I also try to stay in my lane because there's some things that I'm just like, I don't know if I, know this stuff, but that's something that I know that know, that I know that Bob knows, so, and I trust you.
And that's the same thing. Like I would say, like, hey man, we could shoot a video like this. And you'd be like, yeah, no, we could never do that. I'm like, okay, that's fine too.
Right.
Fair.
Fair. But on the business aspect, on the, how does a record label work? Like, like what's how do you even define a record label? Because it seems like different record labels do different things, right? There's not really a clear cut anything. Is there like I never looked this up. Is there a definition, like a straight up definition, Mr. Producer? I don't know if there is for record label.
I don't know if we were waiting for him.
I don't know. He's just sitting there, so I don't know if he's looking.
So I think for us, I think naturally, obviously, as Bob and I are musicians, and I know you have this great love for music and visual arts, that we wanted to pair with local talent, and really partner with them to create opportunities that weren't there before,
right.
And to have opportunities. Or to create opportunities for something to grow into something maybe more positive. I know how tough it was for me. I know how tough it was for Bob because about the time I was coming off the road, Bob started going on the road. And it's a tough life. Being on the road, trying to make something happen is tough. And when you put 13 years of your life into something, and then you wind up middle age and you're no longer a musician and you're a dad and you're a husband and you're just leading a regular life, you put your whole world into a basket and it doesn't work out. Maybe if you had one or two people helping you along the way, or maybe you had one or two more opportunities to kind of get you to that finish line, I would be in a different a different place in my life.
Right.
Maybe not a better place, but just a different place. And that's kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to give opportunities to guide, to kind of help some people. Clearly you have this video knowledge that can put video content out there. Bob and I have this studio that we can create great audio. We have this great engineer in Steez that runs magic on the board. We're just looking to partner with things and see how. This is the second part of my life. So it was the first part of my life was trying to be that millionaire rock star, and now the second part of my life is trying to be that millionaire partner and guide guys into being millionaire rock stars.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, that's, I share a lot of that, I share a lot of that with you based on, being a musician in the past and not having opportunities that the Big Break is trying to give or is giving other artists that I wish I had. I wish I had these. Right. I wish the Big Break was invented before my time. And I was able to participate as a contestant, honestly. Then that's the part of it. But so it's here now, though. We've got Johnny.
That was the same thing. I remember when American Idol came out, I was a year older than their cutoff was when that started. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I would crush this. Are you kidding me? And at that point, like I had been on the road for so many years, and they start this competition. I'm like, oh my God, I come in here. I can do anything with my voice because I worked so long with it. And like, oh yeah, except you're a year past the age restriction. I was like,
I didn't even know there was an age restriction.
Yeah. If you were tapped out at a certain age, you couldn't go on those first couple of years. I don't know if they still have that, but at the time, you were tapped out. So.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of take a little break. We've got Robin, who is going to give you, again, this is going to be a 60-second thing. Just the next 7 days worth of original NEPA shows.
Hey everyone, this is Robin. I'm here with your NEPA shows coming up this week featuring original music. At Finnegan's in Scranton on Friday, November 11th, we have Easy Boys making their debut appearance. At the Moon Tavern in Scranton, we've got the Steve Herzog Experience. At Carl Hall in Wilkes-Barre on Friday, we've got Ripped Away presenting their album release show. They'll be joined by 5 other original local area bands. The Keystone Stage in Oliphant on Friday, monthly hip-hop show featuring hip-hop artist Benji V. On Saturday the 12th, we've got Breaker Brewing Outpost in Archbald, featuring Bradley Phillip Parks. We've also got the Stone Creek Bar and Grill in Hunlock Creek, featuring Marcus Welliver and Dirk Decker. If you want your show featured on next week's podcast, visit our website and fill out the form with your event details. You can visit thebigbreakcontest.com/support NEPA. That's everything for this week. Until next time, spread the word, head to a show, and support independent artists.
Support independent artists. That is what this is all about. So, I mean, that's what it's all about, for me. And then if you become not independent, it's because you're signed to our record label.
And hopefully it's because we supported you to get to that spot.
Right. No, absolutely. And it takes the whole person concept to me. It's not just your music ability. It's your vibe, the type of person you are.
Right. Well, for a band to make it, it's that old saying that like it takes a village to raise a child. It really takes a village to get a band. Like it's not just a band is good. It's not just a band is good with a manager. A band is good with a manager, with agents, that things are happening at the right moment, right place, right time. Like there's 1,000 things that have to happen.
Right.
And the more people you have working with you towards a common goal, the better your chances are.
Yep. So,
which is why anybody out there, Route 6 Records, let us know.
Yeah. And actually, we kind of went over this a little bit before, but with season 4, they do have an opportunity to get a probationary record deal with Route 6 Records, which is awesome. On top of that, you've got the Mad Twisted Hatters Infused Emporium, which is gonna put their label. Excuse me. Wow. Their label
and really good sticky,
sticky
products.
Yeah. Actually, that's what they are with all transparency. Mad Twisted Hatters Infused Emporium. They sell edibles that are Delta 8 and Delta 10 legal THC. So basically, the winner of the Big Break season 4 is going to have a product, one of their products that's going to come out in 2023, be named after them. It'll have like a QR code or something on there, so anybody that buys that product will be able to get to their Spotify easily and all that. So to me, that's huge. Obviously, they've got the music video that's going to be done and, all that great stuff. But those additions on there are really cool. And then the other addition was a 1-year VIP subscription to merchbooth.com. So and you're on there too, actually. So Encore is on there. The Big Break is on there.
Yeah, Merch Booth is amazing.
They're the best.
That's just what a great concept and opportunity for bands and companies. Just that's
right.
I don't know why that wasn't done 30 years ago.
Yeah, well, technology probably.
All right, I'm the old guy in the room. That's the thing I was going to say. Like, I don't know about this Mad Twisted Hatter thing, because 35 years ago I had to go to a sketchy part of town, 8 miles away. In a back alley,
changed, baby.
In the morning. Now it's in a happy daylit situation. We're putting our names on stuff. I don't know, man.
Yeah. So are you a just side note or side table? Are you either one of you organ donors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't make a difference to me.
Yeah. So
I don't know that anybody would want any of these organs.
Same.
I've done legitimate damage to my inside. However, if it can help somebody, I'm all for that.
Well, I just want to take a moment. We lost a friend to the scene and to just this world in our area yesterday, and it comes down to it was a kidney disease. So if you're not an organ donor, just want you to know, please become one. It only takes one donor can save up to 8 lives through organ donation. Yvonne McCormick, very, very sad to have lost her. I had the opportunity to work with her on a photo shoot for 2022's calendar for the NEPA Horror Film Fest. So she got on that calendar, and then she's did it again for 2023. So she's on that calendar too. So we'll be seeing her in a couple of months anyway. But yeah, please, if you're not a donor, become one. So, yeah, lots of love to Ian, her boyfriend, a friend of mine, and all the people out there that love and care for her. But yes, let's. Sorry about that. Just want to remind everybody. Go ahead.
So essentially, beautiful people like that pass away, and ugly fuckers like me, I'm still alive. So that is not fair.
Well, I think
I'll be going
too, man. I think you're beautiful too.
No, I'm trying to lighten it up because I don't know where to go. Trying to lighten it up. So hey, tell us about your funny weekend.
Here, balls. So so again, this season is also going to be open to Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey. So please let your friends know. And do you have Mr. Dan, do you have any like shout outs or plugs you want to throw out there?
Just probably the same thing we've been saying. Go out, support. It's the same thing. If we don't support our local artists, it's the same thing if we don't support our local businesses. Then all we have left we have Walmart and Amazon. And I like Walmart and Amazon, don't get me wrong, but there are local artisans and craftsmen that can do things that Walmart and Amazon just can't do.
Right.
Same thing with your local artists and bands. Bruce Springsteen is great. $600 a ticket. I don't know. Local guy, $10 a ticket, probably going to give you the same kind of enjoyment.
I don't know about that. What about the enigma of this whole process of local musicians? Bruce Springsteen was once a local musician. Eventually, your local musician is going to be a sellout who's going to be selling $800 a ticket. So it's like, just support it.
Hey, right? Johnny, that's what we're trying to do, right?
Right.
So I mean, you gotta go out to these shows and support them, or they'll never be heard of. Here's the thing: there's a million. Hold on, Johnny. There's a million best songs in the world out there that are out there right now that you've never heard of, that none of us have heard of.
Yeah, because there's so much. Oh.
So I mean,
or your local chiropractor, because I needed one after
that. But yeah, no, you got to go out there and support. You have to. I mean,
support your local artists so they could turn into a national artist that charges $1,000 a ticket.
So that you can then go back and support your local artist. And if you continue to do that, $1,000 ticket prices will fall.
That's right.
So I mean, it's the supply and demand. I don't think anybody's worth $1,000 ticket. I don't think anybody's worth $500 tickets. So and I know I'm dating myself, but I saw Monsters of Rock. I saw Doc and Van Halen, Scorpions, Kiss on the same bill for $50. And I'm sorry, but there's nobody that's worth an $850 ticket.
I agree. 100%.
There are bands I love that I won't go see because the ticket prices are too high.
100%. Me too. But getting
50, $60, $75, $100 maybe front row. But really, what are you getting? You can get the same thing on YouTube. One guy film it on YouTube. You got it. I got the experience. Got it.
Right. Right. At a local show, you get to meet the band. You get to hang out with them. It's such a different experience. So you get up close and personal. You're not, sitting way in the back in the frickin', in the field getting rained on and shit.
And I guarantee if you get 100 people to go fill up Carl Hall or Keystone Stage, you get 200 people to go there on a Saturday night. Those artists are going to be immensely more honored and appreciative of 200 people showing up than 50,000 people showing up for Bruce Springsteen. Then he'll be appreciative for that.
And
he won't.
I'm going after the boss like this
because I'm not a big fan of the boss because he was a dick to me.
because there's a bunch more music out there. But anyway, we need to start wrapping things up, guys. Thank you so much, Dan, for being on the show. Encore Studios, you guys rock. Support independent artists. And yeah, this is Beyond the Break podcast.
I love you guys.
Love you too, Dan. Dad too.
Woo! Love you.
You should go at 7. There's no cover. Shh. Hey everyone, this is Robin. And what did we say I was going to say? I'm here to bring you the updates on this week's I'm here to bring you an update on the NEPA shows coming up this week. If you want your show featured,